Good morning, Attorney General Simmons, the Director of the DND's Joanne Dean, the Executive Director of Pride, Ms. Truel Lendy. Bermuda today will join the National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence, NACAD, in celebrating April 2019 as Alcohol Awareness Month. The theme this month is Help for Today, Hope for Tomorrow. Alcohol Awareness Month was established in 1987 to help reduce the stigma associated with alcohol addiction. By encouraging communities to reach out to the Bermudian public each April with information about alcohol, alcohol addiction, and recovery. Alcohol addiction is a chronic, progressive, genetically predisposed disease, which is fatal if untreated. However, people can and do recover. Alcohol Awareness Month provides a focused opportunity across Bermuda to increase awareness and understanding of alcohol addiction, its causes, effective treatment, and recovery. It is an opportunity to decrease stigma, and let me repeat that, it's an opportunity to decrease stigma and the misunderstandings associated with alcohol addiction. In order to dismantle the barriers to treatment and recovery, and thus seeking help more readily available to those who suffer from this disease. During this call to action, parents need to know the progress is being made in the struggle to address underage drinking in our community. Research shows that kids who learn about the dangers of alcohol and underage drinking are 50% more likely not to experiment with alcohol. So help connect the dots for your kids and alcohol use. It's worth it. To learn more about underage drinking, please go to CADA.bm. CADA asks parents and other adults to learn more about alcohol as its effects by visiting our website and the many resources available throughout the island. CADA would like to remind you that drinking has caused problems in your relationship, at work, at home, financially and physically, or legally. It may be time to get help. In conclusion, help for today, hope for tomorrow. AG?
Thank you. Good morning. Today, Bermuda joins the U.S. National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence, Inc., who have recognized April as Alcohol Awareness Month for the past 3 decades. This year's theme is Help for Today, Hope for Tomorrow, and speaks to educating people about the prevention and treatment of alcohol addiction, particularly amongst our youth, and the important role that parents can play in giving children a better understanding of the impact that alcohol can have on their lives. Evidence regarding alcohol use from the U.S. National Institute of Health is very clear, and I quote, "Drinking too much alcohol can take a heavy toll not only on a person's health, but also on his or her family relationships and work or school performance. Alcohol consumption can lead to alcohol dependence and abuse, contribute to a number of diseases and mental and behavioral disorders, and may lead to a range of injuries." Reports from Bermuda's Department of National Drug Control 2015 National School Survey, which monitors the prevalence of alcohol, tobacco, and other drug use among our young people, reveal that the lifetime prevalence of alcohol use for students from years M2 through S4 is 52.6%, just over half of our students. What does lifetime prevalence of alcohol use mean? It means those individuals who had reported that they had used alcohol at least once in their lifetime. So 52% of our students had reported that they had used alcohol in their lifetime. The majority, or 36.6% of lifetime users of alcohol, have reported recent use of alcohol, which means use in the past 12 months. The survey also revealed that current use of alcohol was most prevalent among older students, with M2 or age 12 students representing 49% and S4 or age 17 students representing a high of 53%. Further, it was reported that 1 in 5 students, or 21%, had been asked to buy or use alcohol in 2015. These results are very concerning, as alcohol use and abuse remains one of the greatest challenges facing Bermuda's youth. Alcohol use by young people can be extremely dangerous. The Center for Disease Control in the USA reported that of all the alcohol consumed by young people between the ages of 12 and 20, more than 90% of it is consumed through binge drinking. Binge drinkers are at risk for alcohol overdose and/or poisoning, vehicle accidents, and unsafe sexual behaviors. Parents are the most important role models in their children's lives. What parents say and do about drugs and alcohol does matter when it comes to the choices their children will make. Parents are urged to have those conversations with their children, and our advice to our parents is set a positive example and get involved in your children's lives. Get involved in their activities, know their friends, and know where they're going and what they're doing. Create clear, consistent expectations and enforce them. Talk early and often about drugs and alcohol. Discuss the consequences of drug and alcohol use. Show you care enormously about what choices your children make about drugs and alcohol. During the month of April, the Department of National Drug Control's Drug Prevention Unit will be hosting community education activities at sporting events and at the senior school level to create awareness and encourage our community to get educated about the harms associated with alcohol and to seek assistance for alcohol-related problems. The Drug Prevention Unit also plans to conduct the National School Survey 2019 of middle and senior school students on alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs and health in the latter part of this year. The Ministry of Legal Affairs takes this opportunity to thank prevention organizations such as CADA and PRIDE, who have been consistently disseminating prevention messages about the dangers of alcohol consumption, and would like the public to know that the Department for National Drug Control has the resources necessary to help parents to begin the conversation with their children about drugs and alcohol. Thank you. And I will now read the proclamation. Okay. Whereas the objective for Alcohol Awareness Month 2019 is to raise public awareness about the pervasive impact that alcohol, alcoholism, and alcohol-related problems have on young people, their friends, families, and communities. Help for today, hope for tomorrow. Whereas excessive drinking is responsible for an average of 9 deaths every year on Bermuda's roads. Whereas since 1997, there have been over 236 road fatalities, 170 related to alcohol misuse. Whereas alcohol is the most commonly used addictive substance in Bermuda. Whereas a supportive family environment is associated with lower rates of alcohol use for adolescents. Whereas in the 2015 National School Survey, 19.2% of youth reported having been a passenger on a bike or in a car driven by someone who had been drinking. Whereas consistent and sustained parental attitudes can influence the decision of a child about whether or not to use alcohol or drugs. Whereas children who have conversations with their parents or guardians about the dangers of alcohol and drug use are 50% less likely to use alcohol and drugs. Whereas children who have Therefore, I, Senator the Honorable Kathy Lynn Simmons, JP, Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, do hereby proclaim that the month of April in the year of our Lord 2019 is to be observed throughout these islands as Alcohol Awareness Month. Thank you.
Excellent.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I guess you mentioned a little bit there about some of the education programs that you'd like to implement perhaps this year. With the sugar tax, you said something similar, that you'd like to take any, extra revenues from the sugar tax and put that into education. Is that going to be similar with the sin products like drinking and smoking, where you put some of the revenues that are saved or accumulated through that tax into education?
The budget for the Department of National Drug Control already incorporates the educational component, and we do give grants to community organizations who specifically deal with the outreach that's necessary in that regard.
Mm-hmm. And Anthony, you mentioned that some progress has been made with underage drinking in Bermuda. Do you want to just...
Well, progress insofar as certainly the word has gotten out. The percentage of individuals that have come down through to drinking has gone down by 2 points over 2013 and 2015, and certainly it's going to be really interesting to see what comes out of the 2019 middle school report, because really that's where ourselves and policymakers decide to make good decisions about what the future holds, because as you can appreciate, there's a long-term health impact relative to alcohol or any other unregulated or regulated drugs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.